You're watching my favorite YouTube channel. It's Chillmonger. Jonathan Majors is back in the news, not on his own choice. This man has offered zero statements. He has done absolutely nothing. He and his representation have been radio silent since dropping those alleged texts. And even when they dropped those texts, which they thought would like help out his name, instead it was used against them. People to say, "Aha, you see, this is what a domestic violence abuse victim would sound like." And I looked at it with my friend Nerdman, who's here, and we both looked at it and we go, actually, some of the stuff she's saying, if he ever were to respond to, would actually confirm that some violent stuff took place. These could be traps. We offered that perspective, but we're open to everything because, of course, there is no actual evidence that is dropped since then until now. So Jonathan Majors, the guy who's keeping his mouth closed, just had a couple of places drop him. And today at 3:06 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Variety offers us an article. Nerdman, could you please use your British reading voice to read this?
As Jonathan Majors prepares for May 8th court appearance on domestic violence charges, his PR problems are about to get bigger. Sources familiar with the matter tell Variety that multiple alleged abuse victims of Majors have come forward following his March arrest and are cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. The prospect of more women waiting in the wings would mark a dramatic turn in the case and comes on the heels of Major's publicist management's firmly cutting ties with the embattled actor earlier this week. Should have said firmly cutting ties, by the way. That was their mistake, not mine.
No, they're saying the publicist and the management firm.
Oh, firm. Firm. Cutting ties. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought it said firmly cutting ties. The DA declined comment.
Now, do you notice this? Cole, who's also joining us, Cole, you notice how many more words there are to this long statement? They're just repeating
But
what we
I
already
mean,
saw.
this is District Attorney Playbook 101. And from a legal standpoint, what they've just said is that the district attorney is going to present before the judge. And unless the judge is like really a bad judge, he's going to throw that out as hearsay unless these people have video evidence or that their case is specifically relevant to the case that is in court presented before them. I mean, it's going to be cumulative if you put more than one witness on saying the same thing, and it's going to be prejudicial if their cases have nothing to do with the current case and if they don't have some kind of video evidence of it. It's very different from, like, say,
you could say Ezra Miller, Jeremy Renner.
No. I was going to say it's very different from, say, like, if we're trying to build up a case of like someone who's a serial,
I mean, if they don't have video evidence, and that's kind of bad. I mean, do or do they not have video evidence for the Majors thing?
His lawyer claims that there is a taxi video footage of what the incident actually took place. And until that comes out, what are these corporations reacting to? Allegations? Is that all that it takes? It takes for like a few people to be in the company of the district attorney and reporting their stories without evidence. Oh, 3 people reported something that Jonathan Majors did. We as a company cannot stand by this. Well, we can't represent him over here. He won't be in our movie over here because 3 people alleged he did something.
And by the way, my thing is against the representation of him. The film thing, I would understand if they distanced themselves. It's his representation, his management team, his agency. That's what I don't understand. Because if you look at Johnny Depp, if you look at Armie Hammer, if you look at Ezra Miller, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think any of their agencies or management dropped them within 2 weeks of a fucking allegation. They stuck with them until there was like a snowball of, like alleged things. With Johnny Depp, it took like years. Obviously, the Johnny Depp team have a lot, and I'll give you this, Sean, they have a lot more to lose than the Jonathan Majors team. So you might be like, well, would they do this to Denzel Washington? Probably not, because like you've got a lot more to lose with Denzel Washington than you have with Jonathan Majors. So that's a little bit different. In general, they have nothing to lose by sticking with him.
They have nothing to gain either by leaving him before his court date. Everyone can sensibly say, well, all these people who are still with Majors are waiting for his day in court. No one is blaming you if you stay with him until May 8th when we can see, some more information came out. There's no clock. There's no...
Like, say he's innocent, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Which he still is until proven guilty, by the way,
yeah,
guys.
say he's
This is
say he's innocent,
unprecedented, and this is unfair for someone who has not been proven to do any of these things to lose so much.
but wait,
Wait for him
can
to
I
be proven guilty.
can I say this? If he's innocent, his management team are going to look very, very bad,
Yeah.
right? Like
I'm
if
looking
they,
sus at any person who's still with that management firm.
wait,
Everyone, look, they dropped
wait.
Jonathan Majors, right? Now, if I'm another actor and I'm watching this happen, one is, do they know something I don't know, right? But if
Yeah,
he's
that's
proven
another thing.
innocent and he didn't actually do these things, and you guys can just drop people on a whim like that, I can do business elsewhere. Thank you very much.
Right, exactly. And he's not going to go back with them after. He's not. It's not like he's going to go, wow, you made me look really bad out here in the media by dropping me before I even had my day in court. Right. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe they know something we don't. That's the only thing that I can think of. And putting two things together, I don't think that tape can be that damning if the DA has to go after
Good point.
extra miscellaneous witnesses that are basically hearsay unless they've got some video evidence or unless their case is directly relevant to the case we're talking about now.
Wait, it has to
That's
be
not
relevant too. Is it possible that Majors, possibly, allegedly,
for
guys,
instance,
like
he
let's just say there's a
choked them
woman
unless
whose name is Jane, and Jane is saying I dated him a year ago. He did this to me. Here's this video evidence of it. Now, if she shows the judge that or the district attorney that, it's got nothing to do with the current situation, right? So the district attorney can't use it against Jonathan Majors.
Oh no, if there's video evidence you can, because then it becomes not
even though it's got to
hearsay.
do with Jane and it's got nothing to do with the
No, because it's not hearsay. That's the thing. If it's hearsay, then it's really bad because
because what they're trying to prove is that Jonathan Majors is violent, is what the first allegation, even though she recanted it, she said it. So because she's trying to prove that these lacerations and these strangle marks came from woman X, that now when woman Jane says, actually, yeah, he does beat me, they can use that against him.
Right. So put it like this. So say the DA has a video and it's kind of like it's kind of muddled. Like it seems like, oh, it was more of a scuffle, then he strangled her because they're like, then he put his hands around her neck, right, for instance, right? But you can definitely see there was aggression from her side and then he does that, right? Or there was aggression from both sides, then he does that. Then they'll need something to bolster their case because that's kind of like a little bit weak source. It's not like, he can claim self-defense. He can claim a number of different things. So they need something to bolster their case. And that's when they'll go after other witnesses. If you see in the car or whatever that he's just beating the shit out of her and then strangles her, you don't need, multiple witnesses. That will be the case in itself.
You kind of do, though. In
No,
my
you don't.
opinion.
Why would you need multiple witnesses?
Well, whether you think so or not, that's just how legal system is and what they like to do. They need to try to build it up from all angles and build also like a straightforward narrative and him as a person. That's what they do a lot of times in court. So
but
so logically,
I know they do that a lot of times in court, but when they don't do that, when it's unnecessary, if it's a straightforward fucking case.
Oh no, they still do that.
They do not do that. If I'm on tape and I stab you in the back, unless they've got another tape of somebody else of me stabbing them in the back, the lawyer doesn't need another thing of saying, oh, and and Nerdman also punched somebody in the face when he was 20 or something like that, or like 10 years ago or 5 years ago. They don't need that. Because you've got a clear evidence of me stabbing, then it just becomes like medical evidence, that kind of stuff. You do not need the kind of evidence that you're talking about if the tape is really vicious.
It depends, when you go through something like this, they're not just, they want to try to, again, as I said, build a narrative, but also, slam the book on them, like bring up these incidents and other video footage to prove that he has a history, which means this isn't a one-time thing, which means they would be less generous with his sentence and other things. That's why it's not useless to me.
You're kind of right about that. I do agree, but I still think a judge might determine that prejudicial if
I agree.
If there isn't like some kind of relevance, like for instance, it's another strangulation. right?
Yeah, but
so
yeah,
say the woman says, oh yeah, then the judge would be bad and not doing their job. And it's probably likely that they will do these kind of things in the Me Too generation, but they shouldn't. By any kind of legal standards and the rights of the defendant, you shouldn't bring up a case where some woman says, "Oh, 2 years ago he slapped me," because that's not relevant to the charge of this is a strangulation, right? Like that's what they're kind of charging him with. So it would only be relevant if he has a history of, like, say, strangulation. And then they can have multiple witnesses saying, yeah, he strangled me, and then there's medical evidence to back that up. But if she's just saying, oh, he slapped me, I have no proof of it. But why didn't you say this before? Why didn't you press charges against him if he slapped you?
Well, they'll say because they were afraid could prove it, until somebody
sure,
out.
they were afraid or whatever. I'm not saying that it can't be that he actually did it, and it would be terrible if he actually did it, but without proof in a court of law, it is just hearsay. You understand that, right?
Speaking of proof, go ahead, Cole.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, I completely agree with you. But again, this is the U.S. court system, so they're still going to try with 50-50 success rates.
Well, it's the U.S. court system, and it's these businesses that are in partnership with actors, and it's the public opinion as well. Because if we're talking proof, the next thing after the DA declined to comment, the last part of this is a fresh statement from our girl Priya Chaudhry, who shouldn't have posted those alleged text messages, but it's okay. She says
she shouldn't have done that. Yeah,
Jonathan Majors is innocent and has not abused anyone. It's not, nothing we haven't heard before. The last time she said he did no wrongdoing. I just want her to say he never put hands on a woman. That would be more descriptive. But maybe he did put hands on her, but it was a reasonable reason for it. However,
there's never been a single incident. Now, if there's even been a small one, it's going to make this look just terrible.
Fine. We have provided irrefutable evidence to the district attorney that the charges are false. Now, let me repeat that one more time for the idiots and the naysayers. We have provided irrefutable evidence to the district attorney that the charges are false. She was talking earlier about a video, and now, and me and Nerdman were wondering, I hope they get the video. It doesn't sound like she has the video yet. They have the video. They have irrefutable evidence, according to them. This
is, to be fair, when I said that the DA with the other thing was DA Playbook 101, this is Defense Attorney Playbook 101 as well, to be fair.
Be fair, either she did it or she didn't, and it doesn't sound like this is a lie. It doesn't sound like the defense attorney right now.
She might feel it's irrefutable evidence, but we'll see. I mean,
but okay,
maybe
I'm making a leap right now.
The judge won't let it.
If it's the taxi cab video, it will be submitted.
Oh, if it's the taxi cab video, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and I don't think this is much of a stretch for me to say this is the taxi cab video that she's talking about. Because she was talking about
know that it could be.
I don't know that. I can be certain about it, but I can say.
I'm not. I'm saying I know why you're saying that, and I think that it's a good judgment that it probably is. But I'm saying it could also be that the woman herself is saying now that no, he didn't do anything to me, and blah 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 blah. The video evidence maybe isn't clear. It just doesn't show anything. Perhaps it doesn't show like what happened. And that's why they're not using video evidence. So it could be that what that irrefutable evidence is.
What you just were saying, even though I get the sentiment of what you're saying, a taxi video, it would show the neck and the places that were alleged to be hurt. So there's a good chance that this, if it's true,
good chance it does show it. Yeah.
And I'm looking at this, everyone that Jonathan Majors is losing after this, and big respect to Marvel Studios for doing absolutely nothing about this and just waiting it out. May 8th is not that long from March 25th when he was accused. This can all be settled, same way you did with Jeremy Renner, because his wife was saying some nasty stuff about him and it got very ugly. And now he's got a special on Disney Plus about what a hero he is. Marvel Studios is doing the right thing by keeping quiet. Everyone else, they're disgusting. Every media, every Twitter person piling on Jonathan Majors for evidence. What?
They may have evidence we don't know yet.
No, but the people
they may have seen something.
They have evidence. They meaning
the management team may have seen something that we have not yet.
Okay, thank you for putting that restriction on me before I go ham on them. I swear, but if on May 8th I see some stuff that is very freeing of his name, I'm going to be very vocal about that.
Yeah. Then I will be exactly with you. And that's why I mentioned this stuff about Ezra Miller. I might be wrong, but I remember following the Armie Hammer thing. And that's why I put Armie Hammer in there as well. And I remember the timeline. It was quite a while. Like the texts dropped, some other things dropped. He said he was innocent, blah, blah, blah. The story disappeared for a while. Then it came back again, like about a month or two later. And it took like, I would say about 3 months for him, where it was just like, now it's ridiculous.
You see how you just said the story disappeared for a bit and then it came back. That's a good characterization of what this mess is. It's where they're dragging Jonathan Majors. It got quiet for a couple of weeks. Now the story needs to return here. Management companies, guys, start dropping them left, right, and center. Now it's your turn. Variety, make another article on it. He needs to be in hot water. Even the way that Variety words it, the title of this entire article is Majors Issues Worsen as more alleged abuse victims cooperate with the DA. The issues worsen. No, they don't worsen. He's in the exact same water he was on March 26th.
I really want to know what these
are. Nothing that got worse. It's not a basketball game where there's more points being scored. There's a day in court where everything is presented, and then after that, we can decide on what's getting worse or better. This is not
sure. But his management team may have directly come to him and said, "Look, we want to see what you've got," or something like that. And maybe they weren't happy with it. That's all I'm saying. That's my only caveat. But if you're right and they have just dropped him completely off allegations, right? Completely off allegations. And if he happens to be innocent, that's even worse. But if it's just completely off allegations, then I've got to question why they didn't do that with Ezra Miller. It's almost a direct comparison.
Yeah. Well, that's my biggest thing.
They have a video of him doing the thing. They have the witness statements right after with multiple people corroborating that he was shouting in this girl's face and it was a serious incident. They have multiple corroborating witnesses saying that he threw a chair at some woman and it cut her. He's been charged with robbery, all of these things. Now, I'm like, he's still innocent until proven guilty. I don't think anyone should drop him or whatever until these charges can be like completely... Let's see exactly what was going on. We don't know if like the girl like did something to him first. Like I don't know what happened beyond what that 5-second clip in the video. But what I'm saying is the treatment is distinctly different. And the only thing I can think is Warner Brothers asked his management team and his representatives or whatever not to drop him yet because they don't want him going through the news cycle anymore. They want this movie to come out and they want this movie to,
That's exactly what it is, because there was no news cycle for Ezra Miller until like 2 years later.
Yes, as well. That's also true. But
I mean, that's the biggest difference for me, though, what I was kind of like saying to Nerdman on Twitter, because it's all... The reason why it's kind of a different situation is because of the PR team dropping him, because we don't know whether he's guilty or not, or innocent yet or not yet. But the PR team dropping him, that pretty much made studios think in their heads, okay, so it's his PR agency, his management. So they obviously had all the proof right there. And then they saw it and they were like, yeah, he's screwed. So then they were like, okay, yeah, it's a lost cause. Let's just drop him now, which is different from the other incidents. And that was what was different for me and why it's happening so sooner. And because they did this just out of the balloon before May 8th anyway. So that's the whole reason to me why it's different than Ezra Miller and Armie Hammer. And also because a lot of that stuff was mostly tax and private matters. So that's why I pretty much agree with Chill. If he's now proven innocent, this is one of the worst ways I've ever seen somebody be treated by their team.
It already is too. And it already is. Just the fact that these women are speaking to the district attorney, if that's all you guys knew and that was enough for you to act, I don't care. Majors can be guilty of what happens in this taxi cab. But what you're going off of, to my knowledge, is that there's an arrest that happened because just the protocol from New York City police to do that, even though he called the police themselves. If you're going off of, well, more people are cooperating with the DA, and you're like, oh, well, that's it. Got to drop Jonathan Majors. There's just a level of grace you're not offering this man that I'm going to be questioning. What?
Yeah, exactly. Now go on.
I forgot my train of thought, but I think everyone knows where I stand on this.
Sorry, I agree. I was just going, yeah. I wasn't trying to interrupt you.
I wasn't trying to interrupt you, so I'm like, get your point off, bro. If you got to interrupt me, go ahead and say it.
No.
Listen, there's just there's a difference. Sometimes there's going to be prison sentences that go to black people that don't go to the same as someone whose skin tone just a little bit lighter. There's something about that melanin that just offers guilt, that provides severity of sentences and worser cases. And even like in the hospital system, there's like a weird thing, guys, where let's just say like a mother's giving birth and she's like, I got some pain. Can you deal with me? And then they'll offer less because they feel like a black woman can tolerate pain better because I guess that's what the black. It's very bizarre.
COVID, and it caused deaths. Yeah, it caused deaths during COVID time because that happened a lot with black people.
And I agree with all of those things, but just to go back to what you were saying, I think it's very important that even if he is guilty, this treatment looks very, very strange from the outside if all they know is what, like what's happened, the latest kind of revelations, which is more women have come out. That being said, do you think apart from race, it could be that they are now concerned about these cases, like since they've, Warner Brothers experienced what's happening with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, and the Marilyn Manson thing and Armie Hammer. So now they're being extra cautious with these cases. Do you think he might be a victim of that now?
No, he's a beneficiary. He's getting that because of Marvel. I believe Marvel realized what happened with Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp, and there's the same company. They realized what's going on with what's James Gunn. He had his whole incident.
I'm talking about his management team. I'm not talking about
them.
Marvel.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't care.
Marvel. Whatever, I don't know what they're doing.
I could say easily. Listen, his management team, everyone who's dropping him, the army, all those guys. No, let me pull the army. I'm not going to say the army. The army's a little bit different because they acted immediately and they may have some sort of policy against like allegations and domestic violence. And who knows what the army was all about. But they acted really quickly. They're a little bit different. Everyone acting now, who just this recent week where we're 20 days removed from his arrest. We're 20 more days until his day in court. And you guys want to act now reacting off of what, allegations? Okay, cool. All of you people, I have no respect for you. I do think it's race related. I'm actually 100% sure about it.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, I'm not. I just brought that up as a possibility because I was looking at these other cases and I have to relook at them because maybe I am messing up the Armie Hammer timeline. But I do remember a distinct thing where there was some stuff dropped and it was like months and months before, and it was like 2 or 3 women, and then it just went silent for like good 3-4 months. This is what I remember. And then it just started going, like it went like a steamroller and he was just out, before any charges were dropped against him, before no charges were even laid against him by these women. So I'm not saying that what happened with him is completely like kosher either, but maybe I don't know with that case. It sounds like he really did those things and he's a bad person, but nonetheless, I feel you should still have your day in court or whatever.
Yeah.
That being said, there does seem to be like a distinct difference in this case, and I just want to know why. Is it that they have? Is that they have other evidence? Is it?
No, there is no other evidence. I'm almost certain there's no other evidence. It's just black allegations. We got nervous because they just don't humanize with somebody who looks that way.
Because they think that black people
I gave
are more
Marvel
likely
credit,
to be
but Nerdman, I gave
violent.
Marvel credit. Listen, Quantumania was supposed to have T.I. and Luis and all those guys, that he's still part of that sub-franchise of Marvel. But for some reason, when his allegations came out against he and his wife, Marvel Studios felt the need to make a statement about it, right? No, he's not even with us anymore. It's all good. Oh, really? Okay, it's quick that for you to drop Ti. Now you got someone like Kang the Conqueror who's got an Avengers movie. It's not Denzel Washington, but he's definitely some value to the company. And because it's so heavy, they're willing to stick with him. They're not willing to just drop him off the same way they did with Ti. When
Yeah,
it's someone like
sure.
Hawkeye, they're not just gonna
But
drop you off because we got a show
I'm
coming
not
up called
really
Hawkeye.
worried about what Marvel are doing right now until they actually make a statement or do something like these other companies. I don't really care about that. I want to know
I
why
do. It's relevant.
I want to know why management teams, right? Why again, they are. This is what they're for. This is specifically what management and PR teams are for.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really care as much about the other. It's just PR team. If there's wasn't 100% proof in their opinion after what they saw that he was guilty, then this is their fault. And I would agree with you with the race thing. Otherwise, I don't care as much about the other side.
Your PR team is there specifically for if an incidents, not just for if incidents, but like this is one of their functions. Do you get what I'm saying?
You know,
like your management team and
this.
your PR team are supposed to be there for you in situations like this, and supposed to be part of your legal defense, if anything. And for you to be dropped like this, it's just bizarre to me from them. And I'm like, I don't think that's happened to other actors at this stage of the accusations.
Okay, let's explore this, Nerdman. His PR team.
And I will look into these and research them to make sure that I'm telling the truth, because I don't like to just come out and flap my gums about things that I don't know.
Let's explore that the PR firms and everyone who just dropped him yesterday, let's just entertain the idea that they hired private investigators to find things that are not going to be able to be admissible in court because they used hackers and they tapped phones and they did everything that they could that they're not supposed to do to find out whether or not he's guilty. They know that he's guilty, even though nothing that they know can be used in court against him. They're just like, oh, Jonathan Majors is nothing but a woman abuser because of, I don't know, the phones we hacked, the text messages and Facebook messages and every other message app company shows that of him doing these bad things or talking about these bad things. We believe him to be bad, so we're dropping him. Is it possible that happened? Fine, let's entertain that for a minute. It is possible that happened. I still don't like it.
Okay. And that's fair enough. I think that's a fair point.
Because you think it wouldn't happen with a white actor?
No, because what he said about what Nerdman was just saying about they're supposed to represent you and hold you down, and for them to drop you after all that.
He said this is like unprecedented. This is like in a lifetime incident. You know, even if they think he's completely guilty, they still are not supposed to stick with him.
You wait it out. You wait for him to beat this case. A year later, when the contract expires, you don't pick it up for renewal, or however it works out. You find some other reason to break your relationship. If he's actually guilty of these things, and you know it because of your sketchy ways that you can't actually admit that you know it for using your sketchy ways. I'm just entertaining that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what they're doing with Ezra Miller. So yeah.
Thanks for watching. Thumbs up this video. Cole Turner. Hot Takes Tuesdays, Chillmonger out. Before we go, Nerdman forgot one thing. It really annoys me, but my point was the district attorneys sometimes put out multiple accusers come forward narrative because they don't have a case, and it's specifically to harm people in the court of public opinion. This could be vindictive, selective, and purposeful. This could be out of spite. This could be some DA trying to make a name for herself on the back of Jonathan Majors. This could be ugly racism. This could be unconscious bias. This could be a lot. But Nerdman wants to add this and make sure you know he's thinking of this as well. There's a lot to look into this DA who is actually not satisfied with the evidence provided from Priya Chaudhry, where there's a video, a taxicab video. Really wants to get Jonathan Majors and taking this personal, going after exes, doing her best. Or he's guilty and he did it. Do we know that? No. But this DA, if he's guilty, we'll find out. Chillmonger out.